Good morning.
Morning.
You may have seen or anyway heard about the interview we did on yesterday's show with Kerry Katona. We were very concerned for her, and so were you.
If I'm honest now, you don't seem right to me sitting here now. I mean, your speech is a bit slurred. I mean, how are you feeling now? It is a bit.
That's probably because I have medication at night time.
Do you?
Which I took about 11:30 last night, didn't I, Mark? I did a TV show last night. I wasn't talking like this yesterday, but probably it's early in the morning, but that's...
So what you're speaking... Well, quite rightly, we had hundreds of emails with your concerns, and sadly, once again, Kerry finds herself making the headlines today for all the wrong reasons.
Well, in a moment, we're going to reflect on what perhaps was the problem with agony aunt Denise Robertson.
As you know, it's all over the internet, it's all over the papers. This morning, our interview with Kerry Katona on yesterday's show, when we invited her on, we had no idea that I'd need to ask her this. If I'm honest now, you don't seem right to me sitting here now. Your speech is a bit slurred. I mean, how are you feeling now? It is a bit.
That's probably because I have medication at night time.
Do you?
Which I took about 11:30 last night, didn't I, Mark? I did a TV show last night. I wasn't talking like this yesterday, but probably it's early in the morning, but that's...
I mean,
now, this is going to be made into a huge big publicity thing.
Only because I am merely pointing out what everybody watching... Our phone has already gone in the gallery from people up in ITV who've said, is she okay?
Yes, I'm absolutely
so I'm
fine.
only voicing what everyone's thinking.
All it is my medication. I swear it's going absolutely fine.
Well, we're very fond of Kerry and have been for a very long time, and I know that you are all very fond of her as well, and we were as concerned as you. Hundreds of you emailed in with your concerns as well, and agony aunt Denise Robertson is here with us now. I must make it clear, first of all, she did keep saying it was her medication, and the Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency say that they have received reports of slurred speech or speech disorders as a side effect of chlorpromazine, I think it's called. They also say that a person mustn't take any alcohol with this medicine. Well, she said she'd had no alcohol at all in the morning, only had cups of tea, so that's not what we're trying to suggest, that she's been mixing alcohol and drugs. But it's unfortunate that a girl who was always so bright and bubbly gave us all cause for concern, Denise.
One of the things that was demonstrated yesterday is the enormous amount of affection there is in the country for Kerry. And I think that in a way, whatever problem she has is a problem that we can identify with. Because watching that interview, quite apart from anything to do with her speech, she looked anxious. All the time she looked anxious, and every woman in the country, every working mum knows that feeling.
Well, I think that she looked anxious because obviously she'd been put on the spot. I mean, there are a number of things I'd like to clear up here now, certainly in some of the newspapers, a couple of television programmes today, that a number of people have said, well, she should never have been on in the first place, that we were irresponsible to put Kerry on the telly. And I do want to point out that Kerry arrived, and as we said right at the very beginning of the programme, my goodness, you've only just arrived, you were late, that she arrived, she had a bit of powder. We were told that under no circumstances should we discuss her financial problems, otherwise she'd walk off the programme, and that was the only instruction we had. And then she walked into the studio, she sat down, we both kissed her on the cheek and ran across to open the programme. So that's how close it was. Had we known the condition that we felt that she might be in, our producer would certainly not have allowed her to open the programme. We'd have put something else at the top of the programme, and then we would have ascertained what the issue might be and maybe put her on a little bit later. And so the reason that she was on at the top, and the reason that she was allowed onto television slurring her speech, and there's no doubt that she was slurring, for whatever reason she was slurring her speech, was the fact that she had arrived late and we hadn't been able to find out how she was.
But also, I've talked to the people who dealt with her when she got here, and they didn't notice anything was wrong. And some of them know her really quite well. So there were no obvious signs before she got in here. Yes, it was rushed, but there were no obvious signs.
I would also say that I think that we're going to read a statement here from, she referred to Mark, her husband, in the interview a number of times, and it's actually quite long, and I've been instructed to read it in full, which I will do. And the statement says, Kerry and I are incredibly upset about the negative news stories that have surrounded her appearance on This Morning yesterday, in particular the accusations that she was drunk or had been drinking alcohol that morning. For the record, Kerry had not been drinking anything other than tea before the show. Kerry has always been honest about her bipolar depression, for which she receives ongoing medical attention and takes prescription drugs daily. The treatment that she is on has side effects which include difficulty speaking and drowsiness. Kerry did attempt to explain this to Phil and Fern and is extremely offended that they continued to question her further despite seeing her obvious distress at their ongoing line of questioning. We feel that forcing Kerry to explain her drinking on a recent holiday was totally unreasonable. She has also and always considered herself a friend of the show and appears in good faith to talk about how positive she was feeling about her appearance. Kerry left the show feeling very upset about her treatment by Fern and Phil. Kerry appreciates and understands the concerns that have arisen from her appearance, but would like to reassure everyone that this was due to side effects of her medication. We hope that this ends the ongoing speculation about her health. So that's the statement from Mark. What I would have to say is that if you are concerned about your wife, as he obviously is concerned about his wife, and you are the person who has accompanied her in a car to bring her into a television studio, and you notice that that particular morning her medication or whatever is having an effect on her speech, surely you shouldn't bring her into a TV studio.
That's difficult, because if you live with somebody, then you get not to notice what's happening. And I noticed in one of the clips from the film where she was talking about her breast operation, I thought her speech was slightly slurred then. I didn't see a huge difference. And I thought that when she was answering questions, she was on the ball. She was quite on the ball. But there was that air of anxiety about her. And I thought, looking at it, that is a woman with too much on her plate. And if you think about it, she loves her mother, she loves her husband, she has 4 children, that's quite a handful, and she has a career. One of the reasons why we love her and why she's been successful is that she is very ordinary, but she has also glamour. And I think that's why ordinary women identify with her. And we're inclined to forget that she is ordinary, and ordinary people break sometimes.
Yeah. It's interesting because yesterday, as Philip was saying, the interview was never going to go near drugs, alcohol, bankruptcy or anything else. We were there to talk about her new show, her new body, her new confidence. And it was only when it appeared that she wasn't quite as we expected her to be that I also recalled, I'd read in this current magazine out at the moment, one of these big glossy photo magazines, and they had written here, a bottle of Moët later, she emerged... Oh no, first of all it says, now all I need to do is hair of the dog. Anyone fancy a drink? A bottle of Moët later, she emerges in a striking red dress, made up to perfection. Within minutes, she's back in front of the camera, blah, blah, blah. After copious fag breaks and a stop for lunch, there's just one more hurdle, the pool shot. You see, we want Kerry to jump into the pool for our final picture, but she replies, are you having a laugh? After suggesting a shot of raspberry vodka beforehand and some Moët straight after, she readily agrees. Funny that. Now, I had read that the day before, so when she came in yesterday, I thought, gosh, that's funny that a magazine should put so much of that in. That's why we were asking her about, how she... But then I have to say that somebody who worked very closely with her on that photo shoot told me this morning that this bottle of Moët later, actually it was one bottle of champagne split between 8 people. So again... Yes. I mean, what we asked her was in good faith. It wasn't...
Well, we should show what you asked. If anyone missed it yesterday,
yes, okay.
This is what you said about the alcohol.
A lot of people say when you have an addictive personality and they get rid of one addiction, it's replaced with another.
Which is, what addiction would that be?
Is it alcohol?
No, not at all. I'm on holiday in Spain. I'm allowed to have a drink, aren't I?
Yes, you are.
Of course.
So would that mean I'm an alcoholic?
No. I
Oh,
just
right.
wondered
Oh,
why
right. Sorry,
that-
because I thought that was...
No. I just...
So vehemently denied by Kerry, but also Max Clifford, who we know has been very close to her in the past, and we don't know what their relationship now at the moment is, but he said on Radio 1 yesterday that he's increasingly concerned. He said there's no way she should have been allowed to do that show. Had I been with her, she wouldn't have done it. I must admit, after today, and in view of what's gone on over the last couple of months, I'm increasingly concerned for her health and happiness. There are lots of reports in the press that Philip and Fern ambushed Kerry on this morning, but I don't agree with that. And that's from Max Clifford.
I think that you probably did her a service, because if you had not remarked on what was happening, and I was getting emails at home, the first time in 20 years that friends have emailed me during the show about the content of the show. You did her a favour, I think, in giving her an opportunity to explain what was happening. But the fact is that she has been crucified by the media in the past. I was in the hairdressers a while ago. I picked up a magazine with a not too flattering photograph of her on the front and a very lurid headline. I won't go into it. I turned and read the article, and they had manufactured a lurid headline out of the most innocent remark. And maybe the champagne by the pool
Well,
was
when
the same
something
thing.
happens live on television, it's difficult to dispute that there is definitely a problem. Whatever that problem may be, there is definitely a problem. But, you know, and it's my very personal view, that in my mind, she shouldn't be paraded on television. She should be taken home and loved up and cared
I agree
for.
with that. You see, and Kerry, if you happen to be watching this morning, and Mark, our intention was never to get you upset or angry with us. We are just concerned, and it is this level of concern. You can see how that nation is, as Denise is saying,
she's a little
is very
star.
concerned for you, because you're bubbly, you're funny, you're beautiful, you're quick-witted, all of those things, and we can't bear to see you not looking the Kerry we know. And that's all I'm going to say on that subject. So take care of yourself. Denise will be back later, but we're going to take a quick break now, and we'll see you after this.